heartbreaking loss. Honestly, that game, we're well into, I think, almost 5 hours from the expected start time. It's a marathon of 3 full maps, and really, like, those maps went the full distance. Map number 2 was about a 16-14, and this last one really, really got close. How are you feeling just, like, immediately coming out of this?
I'm just tired. Like, obviously, I want it to be over. I obviously prefer to win, but I'm just like, just happy the game's over after such long tech delays before a game and in between the last game. Just really happy for it to be over. Obviously, I wanted to win, but I mean, I feel like we put up a good showing either way.
Those tech delays, talk to me a little bit about that. I mean, that's obviously got to throw you a little bit as you were trying to, like, do your best to stay focused.
Yeah, especially during the one on the third map. Beginning one was pretty easy because we were just sitting there waiting, but the third map one was actually like just annoying because it was none of our faults. Like, obviously it was the streams. They had to move the streams over. The ETA was 1 minute, and then it was like 20 minutes. It was easy for like me to stay calm, but I don't think it was easy for others. We were all kind of chilling though.
When you say it was easy for you to stay calm, is that just because you've had more of this kind of like land experience and stuff like that?
No, I feel like we were all just joking around, and then we got told to not talk because it's a tech timeout. But we weren't even talking about the game. And maybe the lane experience does help, but it's not like more than like my other teammates.
Obviously, you've had a huge career in NACS so far, and the rest of the team. I mean, everyone's kind of moving on and going to different ECL teams as the next season kicks off. There was no conversations about maybe sticking together for this.
At the beginning, maybe a bit, but then we kind of realized it was like the dynamic of the team isn't really perfect. I'm not naturally an in-game leader, and I kind of had to in-game lead in some areas and some maps, not every map. And I feel like a lot of role clashes as well, and I feel like it would just be better for us to go our separate ways. It was more fun playing with them and like getting to know them. It wasn't all like sunshines and rainbows. We were all like arguing sometimes, especially during that like first map. We kind of argued, but then after that, kind of got like smooth sailing from there, and it was pretty easy playing that. But I'm just like, happy to play with like Wreck and Jitter again, playing with Darty and Strife. And I've never played with Walker, but he's better than I expected coming off a break as well.
So some of the interesting questions here are kind of the journey that you guys have had. I mean, it was the second second open qualifier. You didn't even join the first open qualifier. So, was this just a ragtag group that you threw together just to try and join for the hell of it?
Yeah, Walker was messaging us all, and then I was the last one to get messaged to join it. And I was kind of like, I don't really want to play. And then toward the end, I said, fuck it, why not play? There's no loss for me. I'm probably not going to join a team unless I like play here and do good. This is my like good showing. And when we actually made it and then beat EG, I really felt like it was possible to just actually beat like the next teams. And preparing for the first game for Nouns and that RMR qualifier is actually easier than before, easier than now. Obviously we lost, but it was still like we didn't play our best. But that first game was really, really easy.
I mean, it must just be an incredible experience to have going to an RMR with what is essentially almost a pug mix. Do you feel that you're able to take this experience and the rest of the guys are going to take this experience for what's going to be the rest of the year?
Yeah, for sure. I feel like me and Darty, I don't know about the others, but me and Darty are going to use this to kind of push Strife to the next level, hopefully. We're excited, and I feel like our team currently on Strife is the best it's ever been. And then I feel like Rec may be subbing for ATK. I don't know if he joins them or not, but that would be good for him. And the other two, I don't know what they're going to do. Hopefully they get on teams because I like playing with, Walker. We did argue sometimes, but you always argue. And then Jitter I've played with him for I've known him for 3 years. My first team with him was enjoyable to what I'll say, but hopefully they all get on teams.
Talk to me a little bit about Darty. He seems to be still somewhat of an unknown quantity, I guess, to the outside of the NACS region. He's obviously taken this loss a little bit hard. I could see him after the game. He's still really, really young, and I mean, an experience like this for him at such a young age has to be incredibly valuable.
Yeah, if I had this experience at 18 years old, I would have made half the mistakes I did and played with the people I did, but I feel like he just needs the right direction and play with the right people, and he'd actually be a lot better than most people currently playing, and I hope to be kind of a brother toward him, not be all serious, but not be all fun in games. But I feel like he has a lot more potential, and he's not as bad as I thought he would be either when I played with him. Obviously, he's still a little nervous. He was definitely nervous, and he took the loss harder than I did per se. But he just wanted to show to everyone that he could play well. But it's hard to play well under a pug system like this, and I feel like he'd thrive when we actually get back to home and play ECL next season and other qualifiers.
Tell me what's special about him. I mean, obviously he's bringing something else to this team that, not a whole lot of other people can, especially now that he's really been taking a lot of opportunities with Strife as an organization recently and is obviously good enough to really get picked up.
Well, first of all, he's really young. He's only 18. I think he only turned it like less than 5 months ago. I could be wrong. And he also just has like the vibes he brings in the game. It's not like pure fun, but he always just makes people happier. Just the way he talks, the environment he brings. It's really good playing with him, along with like he brings the vibes up compared to me, Stamina, Infinite are kind of known like tilters, but we're obviously all not as the same as before. We're all improving. And he kind of brings our vibes up and improves like the vibes in the team, obviously. And I feel like he's a really strong player, but needs to learn still. He just has to get the time, and I feel like it's good if he plays with people like me, Infinite, and Stamina.
And obviously, you're talking a lot about NACS. You're headed back. There's just an ECL season that's kind of left. There's not really a whole else that's kind of coming up otherwise. So, what are you trying to do? What the goals are for ECL for this next season?
Hopefully prep for it, and I feel like with time, we could definitely beat like EG Black, Nouns, of course, ATK, and hopefully MRBR and like Pain or Team 1 if they do play it or drop out. I feel like with time, we'd actually be really, really good. We've already had a good showing with very little practice, and then when it becomes more available for us to play, like we could barely play because we had RMR qualifiers. We had to practice for like team stuff, then we had to come here, so we had a long break. But I'm more excited to just actually get home and play with like people that like on a team, just on a team, not like a pug mix, because it's like really fun to not play your own spots and play your own roles. I'm taking on new roles as well, like new in-game leading. It's not that fun. I get kind of stressed when I'm doing it, and my mental kind of gets really down. I get tilted a lot, but I'm just really excited to go home.
And I know that being part of that team is incredibly important, and learning that structure and adapting was something that I think was part of the reason that you and Evil Geniuses had parted ways with. Tell me a little bit about your evolution from that time to now, because obviously you did technically qualify to the RMR before Evil Geniuses did.
Yeah, that's actually true, but I feel like personally, I feel like getting cut for EG was actually better than staying on EG, because it kind of is a wake-up call. And then Vendetta was also a wake-up call when I got like left, and then it was like we parted ways mutually. But getting cut with EG was the main thing, because after that I felt like I wasn't going to play again. I wasn't even playing, considered quitting. And then I got another opportunity, and then I got another one, and I'm just just capitalizing on all the mistakes I did before, and don't want to waste it all. Don't want to fuck around at all. I just want to focus and just grind, because I know these people aren't like so much better than me. I know me and my team can easily overtake them in ECL and any other qualifiers before the new game comes out.
Are you excited about the new game coming out, CS2? Do you think it's going to really change the way that pros might be playing?
Yeah, for sure. At least the smoke thing. Like me playing Dust 2 every single day is not fun. I'm hopefully they add more maps, because Dust 2 is the most boring map out there. But I mean, I didn't mind it, but I didn't like it per se. I feel like there's definitely a lot more changes they should do. Optimizations, of course, but I think it's going to be a good change. Just not stale brand Counter-Strike.
All right. Well, thank you so much, man.